But I'm gonna keep working and see what I can discover as I keep looking at different landmarks on her face. Good landmarks to look for are the corners of her eyes, corners of her mouth, bottom of her nose. I'm not going to get into too much detail right now. I'm not worried about getting the pupils of her eyes just right before I have all of the other information in there. I'm going to switch to a thinner charcoal. This is vine charcoal, so it's very loose and easy to wipe off. And this just happens to be a thinner piece than the one that I started with, so I can get a little more accurate with it. I'm being very loose still. That line got too thick for me. Actually, that line is too thick for me too. So I'm looking at the angle of the center line of her lips, and it's kind of pointed down, and I'm using my vine charcoal as a straight edge again, and I'm tipping it to find that angle. With the lips, you want to remember that there's actually not a real hard edge to the lips. Even though there's a color change, if you were to sculpt a lip, it wouldn't be that big of a plane change. So when you're drawing it, you want to make sure that it's not a hard line, be more of a soft line. Otherwise, it can look too harsh. I'm even looking at big shapes of shadows right now. There's a cast shadow going across her neck. And by looking at the big shapes like that, that will help me place everything correctly. See her hair peeking out from behind this eye and cheek. That might change later on, but just hint at it now. Looking at the bridge of her nose. Again, looking at that shadow cast by her nose to find the shapes of her features. Another great thing to notice is that the eyes are on one line, the nose, the bottom of the nose is on one line, and the lips are on one line, and they should all pretty much be parallel unless somebody has a very quirky expression on. But in this case, when we're just doing a straightforward portrait without expression, her eyes, bottom of her nose, and lips all seem to be parallel. That will keep the features moving around the head in the same plane. So there's that big shadow shape. I'm not going to get into the details of finding the nostril or anything like that. I'm just looking at the big general shapes. When you have a frontal view, if you take a measurement of one eye length, width, like this, and measure how far apart the eyes are in frontal view, it usually, standard is that it's one eye apart. In profile or in 3/4, that obviously changes because now this eye is moving back in space away from us. So I'm going to take a measurement of this eye and see. I'm going to see where her eyes, how far apart her eyes are. And notice when I'm measuring, I still have my elbow straight and I also have my other one eye closed. This will help me make more accurate measurements. Okay, so it's a little bit less than one width, which is just what I have. Lucky me. Okay.